All right, everybody, hello and welcome back to another video here with Holio Awakening and Thunder Dragon Neigong. We're going to be continuing today in our article series on the 7 Hermetic Principles, looking today specifically at the principle of vibration. Um, as always, before we begin, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification button, whatever's applicable wherever you're watching this, so that you can be up to date on all of the teachings and trainings that we have here at Holio Awakening. And be sure to check out the website as well, where we have our classes, courses, consultations, and all of that information. So we're going to go ahead and jump in here. The principle of vibration, the dynamic engine of internal alchemy. It's very important, as all the Hermetic principles are, in our understanding of the foundational structure of reality, which affects the way we conduct ourselves, the way we practice. In this fourth article of our series on the 7 Hermetic Principles and their relationship to the alchemical path and the internal martial arts, we now turn to the third principle, the principle of vibration. This principle states that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. All of reality, from the densest stone to the subtlest thought, is the result of specific vibratory patterns. The nature, quality, and function of any phenomena are determined by the frequencies that compose it. This is essentially the mathematical universe. Everything that exists as it does because of a specific mathematical quality that underlies it. This is very important for not only our understanding of how we practice, but also our understanding of life itself, how we conduct ourselves, and how we function in our daily activities. If the principle of mentalism tells us that reality is fundamentally mind, and the principle of correspondence shows us that patterns repeat across levels, then the principle of vibration explains how this manifestation occurs. Vibration is the mechanism. It is the dynamic engine of creation and transformation. This vibration, the vibration of subatomic particles, of wave frequencies, this is what gives rise to all physical reality. The different vibrations lead to different results in the physical world. From thought to frequency to form. Under the lens of mentalism, the universe is divine thought. But thought itself is not static, it is movement. In ontological terms, movement within consciousness gives rise to differentiation. Differentiation gives rise to frequency. Frequency gives rise to form. As the teaching goes in the internal martial arts, the Taoist philosophy, the Wuji, the infinite void, the stillness, the emptiness, no thing, no manifested thing, all potential. Wuji stirs, separates into yin and yang and becomes taiji. Taiji further differentiates to the 3 ones, which further differentiates to the 5 elements, which further differentiates into the 10,000 things, all of creation. Everything that was taught in the ancient scriptures, the ancient teachings, is exactly mirrored as we continue to further our understanding of modern science and physics. Modern physics mirrors this insight. At the quantum level, what we call particles are not solid objects. They are excitations, localized vibrations of underlying fields. In quantum field theory, an electron is not a tiny billiard ball. It is a vibrational mode of an electron field. Matter is structured oscillation. All dense matter is simply wave functions vibrating at various frequencies. Various different frequencies create different densities of matter. Push deeper, and matter dissolves into mathematics, the core underlying source code of the universe. Wave functions, probability amplitudes, harmonic modes. The universe appears increasingly like a symphony of interacting frequencies. Ancient traditions intuited this without particle accelerators. They spoke of nada, the sacred sound, logos, the creative word, word of God, or the Tao, giving rise to vibration. As I said, Wuji becoming taiji. They understood that reality is not static substance, but living resonance. The interplay of frequencies. One of the most important aspects of vibration is interaction. Frequencies do not exist in isolation. They influence one another through resonance, interference, coherence, and dissonance. Physics shows us that waves can amplify one another, constructive interference. Waves can cancel one another, destructive interference. Systems can synchronize through resonance, and coherent systems are more stable and powerful than incoherent ones. How the frequencies interplay with each other also has an effect on how reality manifests. Biology confirms that living systems are exquisitely sensitive to vibrational input. The heart generates measurable electromagnetic fields. The brain operates through oscillatory rhythms. Cells communicate not only chemically, but electrically and mechanically through the extracellular matrix, the ground regulatory system. The extracellular matrix conducts vibrational signals throughout the body. We are not solid objects. We are organized vibrational systems. This is why it's very important to be cautious as we proceed forward with advanced technologies that are filling the air, filling everything around us with these various alien, foreign vibration patterns, unnatural, not occurring in the natural, normal, unadulterated world. Because these vibrational patterns and frequencies have effects on our bodies. All this biotech that's coming out, people are constantly having wearing things on their bodies or having things in close proximity to them that emit these various wave frequencies. We don't yet know how these things are going to affect, but they do affect. Anyone who tells you that there is not an effect is simply ignorant of physics. There is an effect. The question is, what will it be? And that's what we need to be cautious of. Water, structure, and environmental influence. The human body is largely composed of water, structured within tissues and connective matrices. Research into electromagnetic effects on biological systems demonstrates that frequency environments influence cellular behavior. While popular claims often overreach, it is well established that oscillatory electrical fields regulate development, healing, and neural synchronization. Many studies have been done on this, particularly in the area of wound healing and regeneration of tissues, that the specific electrical patterns and frequencies that are emitted by the body and by various tissues of the body have an effect on how the healing process takes place. And by augmenting these systems, healing can be accelerated. So we know that these different frequency patterns have effects on how the body behaves. Again, like I just said, this is why it is important to proceed with caution when we're working with surrounding ourselves with tech constantly. From the perspective of internal cultivation, this has immense implications. If environmental vibration affects cellular structure, and if thought carries measurable electrical and electromagnetic signatures, then mental emotional states directly influence physiological organization. In this same way that these gadgets and things can interfere with us, interfere with our body's function, change our cellular structure, our cellular operations, our original method of interference, which is our mind, our own thoughts, our own emotions, our own patterns and belief systems, also has a direct effect on how our bodies manifest and function. Stress, fear, anger, gratitude, calm, these are not abstractions. They are vibrational states with measurable correlates in heart rate variability, brainwave patterns, hormonal cascades, and muscular tone. This is the living application of the principle of vibration. Every type of thought, every type of feeling, every type of belief that you can have has a direct and measurable effect on how the cells of your body function and form. This is why it's very important to be mindful of what you dwell on, what kind of thoughts you entertain, what kind of belief systems you follow, what kind of emotions and you have, and how you allow those emotions to uh, affect you or guide you. In the internal cultivation arts, of course, we say we want to control the monkey mind, to lead the shin, the heart mind, the emotional mind. We want to put the shin under the leadership of the yi, the wisdom mind, the mind that is slow and calm and focused. The intent of the yi, fortified by the zhi, the willpower, then controls and regulates the shin, the emotional heart mind. So what we want to do is, through willpower and wisdom, we want to control and regulate the emotions. So we're not getting rid of the emotions. Emotions are necessary. We have to experience life. It's part of the beauty of life that we have of these emotions, that we can experience all these different things. But the problem is that in the modern age, especially, people are increasingly just driven by their emotions, guided by their emotions. And it leads to insanity and an unpredictable and often miserable life, as we see most people live. Alchemy is vibrational refinement. Alchemy, stripped of its symbolism, is the science of state transformation. Really, alchemy is working with these vibrational patterns to affect reality. To refine something is to alter its vibratory pattern, changing lead into gold, as the famous metaphor goes. Chaos becomes coherence, changing turbidity to clarity, tension to song, release, disconnection to peng, expansion, unity, reactivity to ting, listening, being sensitive, being aware of the surroundings of ourselves, within ourselves, and around ourselves. In internal practice, we are constantly working with vibration. Breath rhythm alters nervous system oscillation. We can control the state of our bodies and the state of our minds with the breath. Slow, continuous taiji movement entrains coherence between fascia, muscles, and breath. We unify the body and the breath and the mind all as one. Standing meditation stabilizes subtle tremors into unified internal pressure. Focused intent reorganizes bioelectric patterns. As our awareness refines, we begin to feel microfluctuations, subtle pulses, waves, currents, expansions, contractions. What once seemed mystical becomes directly perceptible. The alchemist learns to fight vibration, not to fight vibration, but to tune it. So everything that we're doing in the internal arts is becoming aware of these vibrational patterns, harnessing them, and being able to attune them as we desire to bring about the effects we desire. Taijiquan as applied resonance. In martial application, the principle of vibration becomes tangible. When two practitioners connect, their bodies form a coupled oscillatory system. The one who is tense and fragmented produces chaotic, high-frequency noise. The one who is sung, released, pang, expansive, maintains coherent structure. Through ting, listening, awareness, one detects the opponent's vibratory intent before gross movement occurs. You become no longer reactionary, but you can feel into your opponent and know exactly what they're going to do before they do it. Power in Taijiquan does not arise from brute force. It arises from coordinated wave transmission through aligned structure. This is biomechanical resonance. When the entire body moves as a single wave, whole body movement, unified, force multiplies effortlessly. The classics tell us to root in the feet, issue through the legs, direct by the waist, express in the hands. This is a vibrational chain, a wave traveling without interruption. We want to be able to connect the body and structure it in such a way that we can pass these waves through to any part of the body at will, so that we can issue force and receive force flawlessly, seamlessly, effortlessly. Fragmentation weakens power. Coherence amplifies it. Vibration and personal evolution. On a psychological level, our habitual thoughts and emotions form stable vibrational patterns. These patterns determine perception, behavior, and life outcomes. This aligns with the principle of cause and effect, which we will explore later. But here we see that our inner frequency conditions our lived experience. How we are, the frequencies that we entertain, condition our lived experience. Two people can be in the exact same situation, and one will be chaotic and miserable, and the other will be at peace and content, purely based on their own internal environment. To cultivate higher awareness is not to escape vibration, but to refine it. Practices such as regulating breath to slow brainwave patterns, cultivating gratitude to stabilize heart rhythms, standing meditation to unify structural oscillations, moving in silk wheeling spirals, chansi jin, to harmonize connective tissues, all work by reorganizing vibrational coherence. Over time, this produces measurable changes: improved health, emotional regulation, increased sensitivity, and deeper resilience. All of this, the alchemical part of the internal arts, is about mastering these wave functions so that we can create a better, more optimized self, live a better life, healthier, stronger, more at peace, more content, more grateful, more in tune with the natural order, natural law, the will of God, the universe. Closer we come to this, more aligned with the Tao we are, the better our lives become in all aspects, in all areas. From unconscious oscillation to conscious tuning. Most people are unconsciously driven by the vibrational environment around them. News cycles, stress fields, social tension, digital stimulation. Their internal state fluctuates reactively. People, in general, are extremely codependent and reactive. They are totally focused on everything around them that swirls and moves this way and that like the wind, and it moves them along with it. They're swayed with every wind that blows. And this leads to chaos. This leads to poor health, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it leads to the chaos and utter nonsense that we see around us. It is as a result, direct result of the fact that people live this way. People are codependent, mostly narcissistic, and they are completely driven by the Shin, their emotional mind, rather than the Yi, the wisdom mind, and the Zhi, the willpower. People have almost zero willpower, and they're driven by their emotions. And we see this across the board. All types of peoples, all groups of peoples, doesn't matter what their positions are in society. This is a problem that is occurring across the board, across human existence. The practitioners of the internal arts gradually becomes aware of vibration and learns to regulate it. Instead of being passively influenced, one becomes the active tuner of one's internal field. We gain control of these vibrations, of these frequencies, of these patterns. We learn to use them. We subjugate the emotional mind to the wisdom mind, to the will. We remove our attention and our focus from our external environment. We focus within, balancing, refining, perfecting the self from within, gaining a strong sense of root and foundation within ourselves so that we are no longer swayed by the winds that blow about us. We're no longer swayed by society. We become strong and grounded and rooted in ourselves. This is empowerment in its truest sense, not control over others. We don't need to change the way to change the world is not to go around trying to control others, to subjugate others, to beat others into submission, to make them believe the way you believe. The way to do this is mastery of one's own state. That is the true challenge. That is the true enemy that must be overcome. It is yourself, your own emotional mind, and your own narcissistic weakness. That is the enemy that we all must face. And that is the enemy that, when overcome, will change the world. The living symphony. If mentalism teaches that the universe is mind, and correspondence shows that patterns repeat across scales, then vibration reveals that the universe is a living symphony of interacting frequencies. We are not separate from that symphony. We are instruments within it. We are a part of it. The work of alchemy and internal cultivation is to bring our instrument into harmony, structurally, energetically, mentally, spiritually. As coherence increases, so does vitality, clarity, and power. In our next article, we'll explore the principle of polarity, examining how vibration differentiates into complementary opposites, yin and yang, and how mastering polarity allows us to transform tension into balance and conflict into integration. The principle of polarity is perhaps the most definitional principle of taiji, because it is taiji, the yin and the yang, the two poles. So the journey continues, not as abstract philosophy, but as embodied science. As I always say, all of these things that appear mystical and magical, well, magic is just science, and science is magic. It's the same thing, just different, viewed differently. So hopefully this series and all the information that we put out helps people to have a better understanding of some of these more difficult concepts and improves your practice. So with that said, again, make sure you check out the links, check out the website for for all the educational material, classes, courses, consultations, and all that. And we will see you next time where we will continue. Everybody, take care.